comparing and contrasting like the validity of different kind of character assassinations and freedom of speech and stuff, like if I were to character assassinate somebody and try to call them out as being sadistic, it's like kind of on my freedom of speech and like my conscience, and like I'm the face of it and I own it and everything, okay? But like when we're talking about like publicly available court records, where they're publicly available to everybody at one place, and they can Google where that place is and anybody can look at it and yada yada yada, and they're available to anybody, like my voice is kind of only available to like these many people, okay? But when we're talking about court records and for that show up on like background checks for like any employer, and it's like available to anybody, like not only is it always like some kind of anonymous cop or anonymous judge, most likely. Well, I guess the judges aren't all that anonymous, but the cop, pressing the charges or whatever is usually anonymous. But then also keep in mind, when it's like a public database like that, there can always be like one villain trumping up as many people's, public records as they want to. They can pick and choose whose dismissals get expunged, and it only has to be one villain associated with like the DA or the police department, maybe the sheriff department or the judiciary. It only has to be like one, or nowhere, just like a bad villain, right? That just knows how to like hack the machine or something, right? It only can be like one villain destroying mass amounts of character through character assassination, through those public records, where everybody is going to think it's valid and think there's some kind of due process, but there's not. And then it's just kind of a deep well from there. And there's a bunch of other reasons why the police and the DA and the judiciary don't really have the right to just be attacking all of the populace, because there's a bunch of laws that are totally arbitrary and stumbling blocks anyway, and they don't really have the right to subrogate, so they've already sort of fallen for a temptation that they shouldn't have, so they're coming to it with dirty hands and as the wicked already. Whereas like if I want to spread the word about a sadist, I'm not coming into that situation as anything but like a total victim. So it's very different than when you're listening to like cops pressing charges, DA pressing charges, alleged judges, yada yada yada, because they're allegedly maybe subrogating claims. Maybe it's all valid. Maybe there's due process. Who knows? Maybe somebody else, some villain is expunging records or not applying records. You never know. Okay, so that's why that kind of character assassination needs to be sort of gone the way the freaking dodo bird